Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Fox 50, two drivers suspected of impairment. This morning, what we know about the victims and survivors of a local deadly head-on crash.
And the road temperatures are still well below freezing. I'll show you when they climb above freezing and who's more likely to see some slick spots this morning.
In fact, there are a few remaining slick spots out there as you're looking live from the WRAL Storm Tracker, though mostly clear from what we've seen. We're going to check in with meteorologist Anthony Baglione about where you could run into a little ice out there. You know, even though our streets were pretty clear, Michelle, I took my time. I don't mess around with that, especially in the morning.
You can't. No.
Gotta be nice and safe. Hey, thanks for joining us here this morning on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. A beautiful sunrise. I know there are still some icy spots out there, but I mean, we have to talk about the sunrise. It's so pretty. Elizabeth Gardner telling us that where those slick spots are and how cold it is right now.
It is really beautiful and really cold. So the areas where we saw as much as 2 to 4 inches of snow kind of along the I-95 corridor here still have the potential to see some slick spots. That's why some of the schools are closed or they're doing remote learning there. Now, in the white shaded area, this is where we saw maybe 1 to 2 inches. And the last couple of days, we've seen a lot of melting. This morning when I left my neighborhood yesterday, there was a great big patch of ice and it was completely gone this morning. So we continue to see improvement. No snow to be seen here in this part of downtown Raleigh. Looking down Fayetteville Street from the Jimmy V camera. It's cold though, 21 degrees. At least the wind is calm, so no wind chill. It's 14 in Roxborough, though, 24 Rocky Mount, 21 in Durham, and 18 right now in Southern Pines. We will be a little warmer this afternoon than yesterday. We climb into the mid-40s instead of the upper 30s, but it's cold again tonight. By the time we get to 6 o'clock, we're dipping back down closer to freezing. I promise we do have a warm-up in the forecast for the weekend, though. I'll show you coming up, Ken.
Look forward to that, Elizabeth. Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione with the help of photojournalist Charles Bradley. You guys are in Cary right now. What are you seeing out your window?
Ken, we're getting ready to be on Hillsborough Street here between Cary and Raleigh. I'm going to take you outside. It's, first of all, a beautiful sunrise. It's so nice to have that sunshine up, kind of helping to melt things, or at least as we go through today. The main roads are looking really good. We haven't seen any issues. We're, of course, watching for those potential patchy ice spots. I think the neighborhoods, the side roads, they look a lot better than yesterday, but that potential is still going to be there for some very limited patchy ice. So just don't let that catch you off guard this morning. Right now, though, here, Ken, those main roads looking really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a result, the morning commute has been relatively quiet. Just a handful of incidents that's dotting our live sensors this morning. But this one I want to bring your attention to. And on the westbound lanes of 440 near Wake Forest Road, we just had a crash reported. We're not seeing any issues in that area. But if you happen to be navigating those westbound lanes of 440, make sure you move over one lane to give those first responders an opportunity to work that crash scene safely. We have been monitoring this crash on Lake Boone Trail in the westbound lane near Blue Ridge Road. This is probably off to the side, not causing any problems for you this morning, just in case you have to navigate that Blue Ridge and Lake Boone Trail intersection this morning. Elsewhere around the triangle surrounding communities, we're working to figure out what's going on here going into coming out of Durham this morning. There's quite a bit of delay on I-885. When I figure something out, I'll let you know what's going on. Here's a live look at I-40 and Wade Avenue. Ooh, that sun glare delay coming into the capital city. Be mindful of that.
All right, thank you, Ken. Many schools have changed their schedules for today, with some icy spots still a concern for them. Wake County schools will begin on a 2-hour delay. If you look at your screen, you can see this map showing counties in yellow, which mean a 2-hour delay, counties in red, which are closed, and green, meaning they'll be remote.
Breaking news, a man is dead and 3 others in the hospital after a crash just after midnight on NC 27 near Benson. This was the scene from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. State Highway Patrol tells us the driver of the white car crossed into the other lane, hitting a truck. The driver of that white car was killed in the crash. A passenger in the car and 2 people in the truck were all taken to the hospital. They are expected to recover. Both drivers are suspected of driving impaired.
We are working to learn why there was a large police presence in Fayetteville this morning. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker captured this video. This was around 1 a.m. on Cliffdale Road near South Riley Road. Police tape surrounded a gray Mercedes as officers investigated, and so WRAL has reached out to Fayetteville Police. They should be open in the next few hours or so, so we're hoping to hear back from them.
New details this morning about the deadly shooting inside a North Hills restaurant 1 week ago. Only on WRAL, we're hearing from a Coquette employee who was at work when the confrontation happened. Raleigh police say the restaurant's head chef, George Collum, shot and killed server Jonathan Schaefer. Chu Reno tells us she thought it was a drive-by until she saw her head chef with a gun.
And his face was like so calm, and I didn't understand at this point that he was the shooter.
And she believes Colum targeted Schaefer over a dispute about a woman. She remembers Schaefer as a good person who made bad days better.
President Donald Trump plans to declassify files on the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert, and Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. This is part of a new batch of executive orders signed yesterday. After signing it, Trump said the pen he used to sign this should be given to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Trump tapped him to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. Kennedy Jr. says he is very grateful to President Trump.
I think it's a great move because we need to have more transparency in our government, and he's keeping his promise to have the government tell the truth to the American people.
And so now the president's team has 15 days to present a plan for the complete release of records on President Kennedy, and they'll have 45 days for Robert F. Kennedy Sr. and MLK.
A federal judge in Seattle has blocked President Trump's executive order ending the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship. The executive order was challenged by 4 states. 4 other lawsuits have been filed by 22 states and a number of immigrant rights groups. North Carolina's Attorney General Jeff Jackson is among those 22 who filed against the order. The judge in the case called the order blatantly unconstitutional.
President Trump's nominee to become Secretary of Defense has cleared a key hurdle. Senators voted 51-49 yesterday to advance Pete Hegseth's bid. 2 Republicans opposed his appointment alongside all 47 Democrats. Hegseth is an Army combat veteran and former Fox News presenter. He's faced allegations of alcohol abuse and sexual assault, but he denies those claims. However, the Associated Press reports he confirmed to a senator during the confirmation process that he paid $50,000 to a woman who accused him of sexual assault in 2017. Hegseth will now face a final confirmation vote before assuming the role.
John Ratcliffe is the new director of the CIA. Vice President J.D. Vance swore him in after the Senate voted to confirm him. The former Texas representative served as the director of national intelligence during Trump's first term in office. He was a Trump defender during the House's first impeachment hearings while he served in Congress. During the confirmation hearing, Ratcliffe said he would not politicize his work.
Hundreds of jobs are slated to come to Wake County as a new biomanufacturing facility is opening Holly Springs. That's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. Kelsey, bit of a celebration happening there today because this is pretty big.
Yes, Chris, today we'll find out more about how the company Amgen will be able to add 370 new jobs to Wake County in the next 90 minutes. They'll have a celebration for the opening of this huge $550 million facility in Holly Springs. And they'll also talk about plans for another $1 billion expansion. You may remember when we told you about the company's partnership with Wake Tech last week. A dozen Wake Tech students have already signed contracts for jobs after graduation. Amgen says they will bring hundreds of new jobs between 2028 and 2032. And the average pay will be more than $91,000 a year. Amgen is a biotech company that develops medicine to treat diseases like cancer, heart disease, and osteoporosis. The ribbon cutting for this facility here is scheduled to start at 10 o'clock, followed by a groundbreaking for the new expansion at 10:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Holly Springs.
Cleanup is underway after snow we saw has melted into a bit of a mess. That and the ice, plus the salt and the brine used to treat the roads, well, it's created kind of a slushy mix. And that stuff is not good for your ride. We heard from a local car dealer who says, or I should say detailer, who says it's so important to wash away the leftover wintry mess to protect your vehicle.
You wouldn't want to leave it for more than a week on your paintwork because it might just start corroding, and sometimes the salt gets stuck to places where you can't really see with your naked eye.
NCDOT tells us they will be monitoring the roads until refreeze is no longer a concern.
New information from the fire lines in California, where we're seeing the evacuation orders lifted and schools reopening.
Plus, United Healthcare has named a new CEO. This morning, the inside hire taking the job after the murder of Brian Thompson.
I've got your school day forecast. Of course, the schedule looks a little bit different for a lot of kids. This morning, if your child is headed to school at 9 o'clock, it's going to be in the upper 20s. By 11 o'clock, we're in the mid 30s. Coming home at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, a bit warmer than yesterday in the mid 40s. We'll stay dry today, and we have a weekend warm up in our forecast. I'll show you coming up.
We're getting you a live look this morning at I-85 at TW Alexander Drive in Durham. And folks, this just looks like a mess out here. There appears to be some sort of situation involved there, possibly a crash, but we've got Ken Smith in the WRAL Traffic Center working to get you answers as you're watching WRAL News this morning, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. Now, before we get to Ken, we do want to make sure we get you all set up with your weather forecast. That's where we're going to go to Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, still cold out, but those mild temperatures are on the way.
They are, finally. There's a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel because it's been a very cold week. Some high, thin clouds there in Fayetteville. We saw a good bit of that yesterday. We're going to see some of that on and off. A lot of folks are seeing some pretty blue skies right now, like Apex, looking great. Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant, and in some shady spots in the Triangle area, like right here in our backyard at the Azalea Gardens, there are a couple of patches of snow. Meteorologist Anthony Bagliota has been out on the roads all morning, and in the Triangle, there's not much left on the roads, which is fantastic news. Our temperatures, though, are cold. We're in the low to mid 20s. The wind is light, so we don't have a wind chill. We look ahead to what's next as we get into next week. I think a lot of folks will be looking forward to a warm up. We'll have some temperatures in the 60s. We may see a few light showers in our southern counties on Monday morning during the commute. So keep checking back, and we'll let you know if that will affect you. Some snow showers up into the mountains, but we're going to be dry for the weekend. Our next best chance of any rain would be in our southern counties early on Monday. But if the timing or the position of that changes, we'll definitely let you know. Taking a look at the weekend, green light both days. Get outside. It'll be chilly Saturday in the mid 40s, but Sunday will climb into the mid 50s. So noticeably warmer. Sunday would be the choice day to get outside, even though it may be slightly cloudier. This is one thing that you don't want your kids to do outside. Get them out. They've probably been cooped up the last few days. Let them know that there's no safe ice. If the pond looks frozen, if the creek looks frozen, it is still very dangerous. It just doesn't get thick enough around here to be safe. Speaking of thick enough, hey, we got so far this January 2.2 inches of snow, which lines up fairly closely to what we saw several years ago. Of course, we missed 2 different years. Will this be the end? Is that going to be the top of it? Well, maybe. We do have above normal precipitation to start February, but we also have above normal temperatures. So we'll see. Definitely looking a bit warmer coming up. Notice that we'll be down near freezing for the morning lows up through Monday morning, but the afternoon highs could climb into the 60s by Wednesday, Ken.
Elizabeth, we're following some breaking news in Durham right now. Let's get right to what we're seeing on our live traffic sensors this morning. There's a crash on I-885 in the southbound lane near Cornwallis Road. Let's take you outside and show exactly what we're talking about. There's a live camera at the courtesy of a live cam network on I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. You can see the huge first responder response fire, EMS. I saw an ambulance pull there just a little while ago. You can see at least 3 lanes are closed, traffic being shoved down to 1 lane. Our assignment desk is working to figure out exactly what happened. I'll keep you posted in terms of what you should do to get around this. But really and truly, the alternate route would be Highway 70 if you're coming into the capital city this morning. We do have a couple of other incidents we want to tell you about here in Wake County. There's a crash on I-440 in the westbound lane near Wake Forest Road. We're not seeing any delays there whatsoever. This one I think is in the clearing phase. We've been watching it now for about an hour, and we're not seeing any delays on Lake Boone Trail at Blue Ridge Road, so nothing really to worry about there. But elsewhere, other than what's happening on 885, all the other major routes, 64, 87, the Beltline, 15501, I-40, all delay-free right now.
A wildfire burning in northern Los Angeles County has grown beyond 10,000 acres. The Hughes fire broke out yesterday morning, and evacuation orders were lifted yesterday as firefighters slowed the spread of it. The fire is around 25% contained, and schools in that area will reopen today. Yesterday, lawmakers in California approved a couple $2 billion in relief aid.
Authorities say a teenager who opened fire inside a Nashville, Tennessee high school live streamed part of his deadly attack. The shooter killed one student and injured another inside the school's cafeteria before turning the weapon on himself. Police say before he opened fire, he went to a nearby bathroom and posted photos on social media. He then streamed the attack on Kick before his account was quickly banned and the video was taken down.
7 San Antonio police officers are recovering from being shot during a standoff. And this all started when a family member called police about a suicide in progress. When officers arrived, 46-year-old Brandon Poulos opened fire and hit 7 of them. Poulos then barricaded himself in an apartment, and that's where he was found dead. But right now, police are still investigating whether his death was self-inflicted or if police killed him.
A 7-year-old girl is dead and her mom's boyfriend is due in court today after the girl was accidentally shot by her sibling in Kannapolis. Police were called to an apartment complex yesterday where they found the girl dead from a gunshot wound. Investigators say the gun was unsecured when her sibling picked it up and accidentally fired. Police say the gun belongs to the mother's boyfriend, Timothy Burris. He is charged with felony child abuse and other crimes. Neighbors say they're heartbroken.
Heart. It just does for that to happen. That's why people need to put, if they got guns, put them up.
And his bond was set at $25,000.
Hope County investigators are trying to figure out what caused a house fire that resulted in this right here, the aftermath, and 2 people died during it. Sky 5 video shows the damage from above, as you see here on your screen. Investigators say a 71-year-old woman and her 91-year-old mother died yesterday morning. Investigators say they do not suspect foul play in this case.
Attorneys for the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students in 2022 are asking the judge to throw out evidence. The defense representing Brian Koberger claims the search warrants in the case were tainted. Family and friends of the victims were seen leaving court after yesterday's pretrial session. It is expected to continue today. The trial is scheduled to start this summer.
United Healthcare says that Tim Noel will be the company's new CEO. He'll be stepping into that role after the murder of Brian Thompson back in December. Noel joined the company in 2007, and he's moving up from heading United's Medicare and Retirement Division. He previously worked at Northwest Airlines during its bankruptcy proceedings. Luigi Mangione faces murder and terror charges in Brian Thompson's killing. Mangione, though, pleaded not guilty. Purdue Pharma and its owners have reached a new opioid settlement to resolve thousands of lawsuits. Several state attorneys general announced the near $7.5 billion national settlement. The lawsuit alleged that OxyContin pain medication caused a nationwide opioid addiction crisis. Under this new deal, the owners do not receive immunity from potential future opioid lawsuits. Individual victims who do not join the settlement could pursue their own lawsuits against the company.
Tesla announced it is now taking orders for its redesign of its Model Y vehicle in the U.S. This comes just a couple of weeks after the model debuted in some Asian countries. The new version has similar proportions to the original Model Y, but has updated suspension, wheels, and tires. The starting price for the new Model Y is $46,490. Meanwhile, Ford is recalling thousands of vehicles linked to battery failure. 272,000 vehicles are linked to the recall, including 2021 to 2023 Bronco Sports and 2022 to 2023 Mavericks. The agency says the vehicle's 12-volt batteries may have internal connection issues. Those issues could prevent the car from restarting after an automatic stop or start is initiated, increasing the risk of a crash. Impacted owners are expected to be notified by mail on how to get a free repair.
You know, we typically don't get a whole lot of snow in the Triangle, but this time, 25 years ago, our area got a record 23 inches of snow. And the snow started falling January 24th, and it just kept falling into the next day. The storm knocked out power to more than 100,000 homes and businesses. Schools and businesses were shut down for more than a week as the area tried to dig out. And though people who experienced that epic snow, well, they never forgot it, including one Durham couple that credits the snowstorm for sparking their love story. In January of 2000, Maggie and Mike Humble had not met, not yet anyway, but they lived in the same condo building. After the storm, Maggie brushed the snow off a few cars, including Mike's. He found out from other neighbors it was her, and so he wanted to say thank you. Mike baked some homemade cinnamon rolls and knocked on her door. They chatted for hours that day, learning that they had much in common.
And we were snowed in for over 4 days. And so we would invite each other to dinner and we'd talk all night. And there was, of course, basketball did not stop in the snow, which is fabulous. So we watched the ball game on that Saturday, and Mike invited me to brunch one morning. And so it was just
invited me to dinner one night.
Yeah, but it was just like these 5 or 6 days in a row where you could get out, but it was risky. So you tried not to get out, But we had this concentrated time to get to know each other, which was fabulous.
Snowed In and Love Struck, coming soon to Netflix. Doesn't that sound like the perfect romantic film, right? I love this. 8 months later, they were engaged, and 6 months after that, they were married. And they love it whenever it snows outside. It's a reminder for them. And every year, the Humbles mark the day they met with cinnamon rolls. How appropriate.
I love that. That's so cute. All right, well, be sure to check out the NFC Championship game on Fox 50 this Sunday. The Philadelphia Eagles are hosting the Washington Commanders. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. The winner of that game will go on to the Super Bowl, where they will play the winner of the Bills-Chiefs game later in the day.
Time is 8:23. Today, a ribbon cutting ceremony in Wake County for biotech company Amgen. What we're learning about the jobs they expect to bring to the area.
And President Trump is directing federal officials to recognize North Carolina's Lumbee tribe. Just ahead, what the Native group's chairman is saying about Trump's new memorandum.
We're near you. As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Friday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We are following breaking news in the WRAL Traffic Center. Here's Ken Smith.
Yeah, Michelle, not a happy morning for folks leaving Durham this morning on I-885. This is what they're running into a crash on I-85 near Cornwallis Road in those southbound lanes there in Durham. You can see traffic is being really squeezed down to even the shoulder of the road. There are a number of first responders on that scene. We know that it involves multiple vehicles. We don't know how many just yet. We'll keep monitoring this for you. Here's what it looks like on our live traffic sensors this morning. If you have to navigate I-85 and you want to get to I-40 or all points east and west, depending on where you are, Miami Boulevard is an alternate route, or Highway 70 is an alternate route to get to the capital city.
Looking live at RDU right now, and skies are blue and beautiful. There may be some high, thin clouds that roll through where you are as we get through the day today. Our temperatures are cold still. 18 in Southern Pines, 19 in Tarboro, 20 in Irwin, 25 in Goldsboro. So if you're about to head out with the dog, it's really chilly. A little warmer this afternoon than yesterday, though, with mid-40s, and our temperatures keep climbing into the weekend.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. A man is dead and 3 others in the hospital after a crash just after midnight on NC-27 near Benson. State Highway Patrol tells us the driver of the white car crossed the center line, hitting the truck. The driver of that white car died. Both drivers are suspected of driving impaired. And today we'll learn more about how Amgen will bring 370 new jobs to Wake County. Amgen is a biotech company that develops medications. A ribbon cutting ceremony is at 10 o'clock this morning, followed by the groundbreaking for the expansion at 10:30. Next on Fox 50, hear from a server at Coquette who was working during the restaurant shooting. And next on Today, pep rallies for the NFL Final Four.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
That breaking news takes us to Durham. A major crash on I-885 in those southbound lanes leaving Durham this morning. We'll let you know what we know about this crash and share with you some alternative routes to avoid this backup.
And a deadly head-on crash in Johnston County. We are going to take you to the scene to show you more from the aftermath.
And the road temperatures are still really cold in the low to mid 20s. I'll show you when these road temperatures climb above freezing. We'll talk more about a warm up for the weekend, too.
Plus, new jobs in Wake County. Today, a biotech company will have a ribbon cutting in Holly Springs. Their plans to hire local. They will be hiring hundreds of people. We'll tell you all about it coming up. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Lovingood. Yeah, certainly this is one of those days where I know some people, most of the week, your kids have been at home, but today, a lot of you going back. We're going to get to which counties are still open and delayed in just a bit. But first, let's get to Elizabeth Gardner. She's tracking your weather forecast for you with some icy road potential.
Yeah, meteorologist Anthony Baglione's been right around Wake County and has struggled to find much snow or ice on the road, which is wonderful news. Now, you go farther east, the blue shaded counties along and east of I-95, that's where we saw 2 to 4 inches of snow. It's just deeper there, and it's just going to take a little bit longer for that to melt. So a lot of those schools schools are either doing remote learning or are closed. There's still some snow on some of those back roads. We take a live look at Durham. A little pocket of snow here at the DBAP right near home plate, but beautiful sunshine. It is only 21 degrees though, so still very cold. No wind chill though, as the wind is calm right now. 14 currently in Roxborough, 24 Rocky Mount, 21 in Durham, 18 in Southern Pines. It's really cold out there, but this is the coldest morning that we'll see for a while. The afternoon temperatures slightly warmer than yesterday in the mid-40s. As we head through the next 5 or 6 days, we could climb up into the 60s. I'll show you when, Ken.
Elizabeth, let's get right to that breaking news on I-885 and those southbound lanes leaving Durham this morning. We know that this crash involves multiple vehicles. We don't know how many vehicles were involved, but you can see a number of first responders are on the scene, fire, police. I saw an ambulance pull up a little while ago. You can see traffic actually being squeezed down to the shoulder of the road, not even on the lane right there. So all those lanes are closed in terms of traffic getting through. It's just the shoulder of the road right now. We're working to figure out how this crash happened and how the people involved in this crash are doing. Here's what it looks like on our live traffic sensors this morning. It's causing congestion in both directions there on 885. It's widening out the view. If you want to avoid this crash on 885, depending on where you are, you can take Highway 55 and there's an alternate route, Miami Boulevard, that gets you down to I-40 this morning. If you're coming into the capital city, Highway 70 is your best bet this morning. Elsewhere in the Triangle and surrounding communities, we do have a couple of incidents that we want to bring your attention to here in Wake County. This is a crash on 440 in the westbound lane near Wake Forest Road. Not seeing any delays in that area whatsoever. But elsewhere, all the other major routes really, from Wendell, 6487, the Beltline, 540, all delay-free right now.
And Ken, also covering Wake County from right here in the WRAL Live Center, we have, if you look at the big map, 124 closings and delays still up there, but a great sign. Better late than never for Wake County schools. Take a look at this video. We have Sky 5, the transportation center, the bus depot, if you will, for Wake County Public Schools. This is just a little while ago from Sky 5, and we got some buses leaving for the day right there. You know, Monday was a holiday, Tuesday a teacher work day, Wednesday was the snow. Well, now it's cleared up and they are moving on out. A lot of schools have changed their schedules with the early concerns out there on the roads, but pulled the WRAL Storm Tracker off the road because hey, these buses are going out. Wake County schools will begin on a 2-hour delay.
All right, thanks, Jeff. And here's a look at the school systems that are taking those extra precautions for this morning. Jeff just went over a couple of them. Wake County schools, again, a 2-hour delay alongside the other counties in yellow. Counties in red are closed and green will be remote.
A man is dead and 3 others are in the hospital because of a crash on NC 27 near Benson. I want to show you some video here from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. You see the damage here? This was around 2:30 this morning. State Highway Patrol says the driver of the white car crossed into the other lane and hit a truck. The driver of that white car was killed, and a passenger in the car and 2 people in the truck were taken to the hospital, but they are all expected to recover. As for both of the drivers involved in this, they're suspected of driving impaired.
We are working to learn why there was a large police presence in Fayetteville this morning. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker captured this video around 1 a.m. on Cliffdale Road near South Riley Road. Police tape surrounded a gray Mercedes as officers investigated. We have reached out to Fayetteville Police. We are waiting to hear back.
This morning, President Donald Trump will visit Western North Carolina, and he's going to make several stops in areas that Hurricane Helene hit the hardest. Trump is expected to arrive later this morning. He is set to have a meet and greet with Republican leaders at the airport. He'll then make a brief visit to an undisclosed location nearby. The president is expected to leave by mid-afternoon for a flight to L.A. But, of course, you can stay with WRAL throughout the day for updates on the president's visit. Tune into our newscast from 4 to 7:30 this evening for our updates.
Today marks 1 week since the deadly shooting inside a North Hills restaurant. Raleigh police say the restaurant's head chef, George Collum, shot and killed server Jonathan Schaefer. Only on WRAL, we are hearing from a Coquette employee who was at work inside the restaurant when the confrontation happened. True Reno tells us she believes Collum targeted Schaefer over a dispute about a woman.
And that's the really sad thing about it, is that it should never get to that point over someone. He didn't try to kill anybody else in the restaurant because he most definitely could have.
And Reno tells WRAL the employees who were inside Coquette are still processing what they experienced. She says she will remember Schaefer as a good person and a friend. And covering Wake County, a new biomanufacturing facility is bringing hundreds of jobs to the county. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey, she joins us live from Holly Springs this morning. And Kelsey, the company Amgen is helping to grow a hub for life science companies right here in North Carolina.
Yes, Michelle, today we'll find out more about how the company is planning to bring 370 jobs to Wake County. And in the next hour or so, they will have a celebration for this new facility that's in Holly Springs. It's a $550 million facility. They'll also talk about their plans for another $1 billion expansion. You may remember when we told you about the company's partnership with Wake Tech last week. A dozen Wake Tech students have already signed contracts for jobs after graduation. Amgen says they will bring hundreds of new jobs between 2028 and 2032, and the average pay will be more than $91,000 a year. Amgen is a biotech company that develops medicines to treat cancer and heart disease, as well as osteoporosis. The ribbon cutting for this new facility will be this morning at 10 o'clock, followed by a groundbreaking for the new expansion at 10:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Holly Springs.
President Trump is pushing for federal recognition of the Lumbee tribe. He signed a memorandum about this yesterday. Essentially, it directs the Secretary of the Interior to come up with a plan to give the Lumbee tribe full federal recognition. Special benefits and protections would come along with this, and that would come through Congress or through other available means. Now, the chairman of the Lumbee tribe is expressing appreciation for the president. He says President Trump, quote, is the first president to sign such a memorandum declaring full federal recognition for the Lumbee tribe as official policy of the U.S. government, and to lay the groundwork for what the Lumbee have been fighting toward for more than 100 years. The House of Representatives passed a bill to grant federal recognition many times before, but the Senate has always shut it down. Now, Congressman David Rouser said that, quote, denied the services of other federally recognized tribes for decades. Congress can correct this by passing my bill and sending it to the president's desk to become law. Now, the move doesn't guarantee an easy path forward. Lawmakers are lobbied by other tribes who question the Lumbee's tribal ancestry.
We are working to learn why people trying to get to the emergency department at Rex Hospital in Holly Springs were turned away last night. We're told there was a security threat shortly after 7 p.m. Hospital officials did not specify what happened, but the all clear was given. Holly Springs police are investigating.
This morning, you can get your children some gently used clothes, books, or even toys at the Kids Exchange Consignment Sale. Doors open in the next 21 minutes, and admission is free today. The sale continues tomorrow and Sunday, which is half price day. We suggest heading to the Jim Graham building early so you can get your hands on things first. And this is the largest consignment sale in the state. It helps tens of thousands of families who want to be smart with their finances.
32 members of the Raleigh Police Department will get promotions today. The department will hold a ceremony for them at 10 o'clock this morning. It's happening at Providence Church on Glenwood Avenue. It is open to the public.
Your time is 8:39. UNC released new details of Bill Belichick's coaching contract. Until this morning, you're going to hear how much it would cost him to back out of his position.
Plus, unseasonable snow and cold in the deep south is impacting wildlife. How turtles are being acclimated to the frosty temperatures.
Let's go and get you a live look outside over at the DBAP there. A little frost on the ground there, but today, yes, a sign of it being chilly. However, ahead, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will give us a timeline for when temperatures could be a bit more mild.
Good morning to North Hills as we take a live look right now. Time now is 8:43 on your Friday morning. It's a chilly start again, but beautiful blue sunshine skies. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has another beautiful shot over Apex sunshine. We love it.
So pretty out there. We take a live look here down Salem Street. All is moving smoothly. We've not had any word of any problems on the roads here in Wake County. But as you go eastward, there was more snow. So it's just taking a little bit longer for that to melt. Right now it's 21 in the Triangle. Our dew point is a dry 14. We're looking at temperatures climbing into the mid-40s this afternoon, which is a little warmer than yesterday. But it's awfully cold stepping out the door right now. 18 in Southern Pines and Goldsboro, 21 in Raleigh, 27 in Goldsboro. Around town, we should climb into the mid-40s for Raleigh, Durham, and Fayetteville. The kids may be itching to get outside. Should be fine. Maybe a little bit muddy out there, but jacket, a sweater. It's just not going to be quite as bitterly cold as it has been the last several days. But it will get really cold again tonight. So early tomorrow morning, 19 Southern Pines, 17 Roxborough, 20, and Rocky Mount and Durham, 21 in Clinton and Goldsboro. So that's another cold one. It's been a cold winter so far, especially January. It wasn't so bad in December. As a matter of fact, when you look at winter as a whole, we're only a little over 1 degree behind. But January has been so cold. This 36 right here, when you compare it to the rest of the winter, that 36 is an average of the highs and lows for each day in January. And we're 5.5 degrees colder than normal. Lots of cold air here. The blue shaded area is where temperatures are colder than normal. But that changes over the weekend. We're going to see our winds starting to come out of the south, warming things up. Notice the color change to yellow, and that's an indication of temperatures above normal. Now, Sunday and Monday will be near normal, and then climbing above for Tuesday and Wednesday as we get closer to the 60s, and we could see 63 degrees on Wednesday. It may be the first 60-degree day that we've seen in January, but we tend to average 6 or 7. I don't think we're going to have time to get 6 or 7 out of this month before we move on into February. But definitely looks milder and fairly dry next week with a chance of just a few light showers on Monday morning. Make sure you check in with us early Monday in our southern counties. That's where we could end up seeing a little bit of light rain. By Monday morning, we're finally just above freezing at 33 degrees. And then after that, those overnight lows get a little warmer, Ken.
Excellent, Elizabeth. We're just getting right to that breaking news there on I-85 and those southbound lanes. This is video courtesy of our live cam network. But we do have photographer Michael Joyner and Nick Perlin, the WRAL breaking news tracker, there on the scene. This is his shot right there. You can see Michael telling me just a little while ago he's counted at least 5 vehicles involved in this crash there on I-885 South. Right now, we're seeing that lanes just going down to actually not even a lane, but going onto the shoulder of the road to get those traffic moving. But really and truly, it's a situation where I-85 is completely at a backup, and this is causing backups in both directions as we bring it back here live to the WRAL Traffic Center. And we'll show you what it looks like on our traffic sensors this morning. I mean, both directions of I-85 continues to be closed this morning. And as we widen out the view, I know many of you need to get around this mess. If you want to get around I-85, depending on where you are, Highway 55 is your best bet. Miami Boulevard. Also, if you're trying to get to the capital city, Highway 70 is another good alternate route. Of course, I'll have another update in just a few minutes over on Fox 50.
A scary situation. Thanks, Ken. President Donald Trump is expected to speak on the phone with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the next few days. It comes as Trump is putting economic pressure on Russia to try and end the fighting in Ukraine. Trump told Putin on social media to reach a deal with Ukraine or face more sanctions. That did not faze the Kremlin, though, as it stepped up attacks last night.
A Palestinian journalist was one of the first people released under the ceasefire deal in Gaza. Rula Hassanein spent 10 months in detention before being reunited with her daughter and her husband last week. You can see her husband's anguish right there, being able to finally see his wife. She says prisoners were subjected to hours of abuse from Israeli forces on the day they were transferred for release. She says they were also forced to watch hours of Israeli propaganda before being freed. The Israeli prison service says it is not aware of these claims.
An 18-year-old is charged in the death of a 50-year-old man in Hope Mills. We first brought you this as breaking news yesterday morning. Authorities found Johnny Fisher dead just before 1 a.m. during a welfare check on Medicus Lane. 18-year-old Jonathan Hatchell is charged with first-degree murder. He is being held at the Cumberland County Detention Center without bond.
The city of Raleigh wants your input on ways to improve pedestrian safety downtown. And so they have started the Glenwood South Safety Pilot Survey. Leaders are looking to improve the area of Glenwood South, or rather I should say Glenwood Avenue, to North Street and Johnson Street areas there. The survey will be open until February 28th, and you can find it on the city's website.
We have new details on Bill Belichick's contract with UNC. The university released his signed employee agreement yesterday. It is a 5-year deal worth $10 million. There is a $10 million buyout if Belichick decides to leave before the end of May. The ACC announced that the Tar Heels will host TCU in the first game of the season on Labor Day, September 1st. That'll be a Monday night. Kickoff is at 7:30. We have the details on WRALSportsFan.com.
Warming centers will remain open through today in Orange County to help people escape the lingering cold temperatures. They include the county's main library in Hillsborough, the Passmore and Seymour centers, and the Eflin Cheeks Community Center. The Seymour Center will be open through tomorrow. Actually, warming centers will remain open in Cumberland County as well. Temperatures are expected to drop below freezing overnight, and that includes the county's Department of Social Services, where you can go for a warming center, the Public Health Department, libraries, and rec centers too. Locations will remain open through at least today, but you can find a full list and the hours on the county's website.
Well, with the cold in the south, these turtles are trying to get some warmth. They are now in the care of a marine institute in Panama City, Florida. The nonprofit is taking care of more than 150 cold-stunned turtles. Staff and volunteers are trying to get them into warmer waters. In order to prevent shock, the turtles can only be warmed up by 3 to 5 degrees each day.
Icy interstates left truckers in Alabama stranded, and some even parked for days. Trucks lined the side of the highway waiting for a fleet of snowplows from other areas to come in and clear it. Seasoned truckers said that there's nothing they can do but wait this out when this happened. The Alabama Department of Transportation says they did bring in extra plows and crews before the storm, but that ice was still too thick.
With several snow days this week, families might be looking to get out of the house. They're looking forward to this weekend with their kids. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan has some ideas for family, including a rodeo in Raleigh. Did your son have off from school this week?
Both of my kids had off of school, but they're tracked out right now, so it didn't really matter too much. We were already going to be home. So the world's toughest rodeo's in town on Sunday at the Lenovo Center this weekend. There's going to be a lot of fun there. Okay, it's a great family-friendly pick.
That's amazing.
Got bull riding, barrel racing, and more fun. You can get your tickets in advance, and you can save $2 per ticket. Get there early because the gates are open at 1:30, and ticket holders can get a little bit of a discount. You can also get in there at 1:30 and enjoy pony rides and meet the cowboys.
Very fun. And this weekend also marks the kickoff to Black History Month in the state. Tell us about the African American Cultural Festival.
This is a great pick for the weekend, too, because North Carolina Museum of History will present this free event on Saturday. It starts at 10:30 a.m. The North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences will be hosting it this year because the History Museum is closed for renovation. Activities are taking place in the museum and also throughout Bicentennial Plaza.
And over at Dorton Arena in Raleigh, the Lunar New Year Festival that's happening tomorrow.
Yes, it's going to be another great event, okay? This year the festival is celebrating the Year of the Snake. Activities will be held from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's going to be authentic Chinese food and drink, performances, and a market. Children 6 years old and under 6 years old are admitted for free. Tickets are $10 in advance and $13 at the door.
Very fun. A lot of good things going on this weekend. Kathy, thank you so much. And for more on these events, you can go to WRAL.com and search the keyword Out and About.
A new location of a popular bakery is now open in Raleigh. La Farm's 8th location is in the Creekside Shopping Center on 6 Fork Road. A ceremonial breaking of the bread happened yesterday morning. I want some bread now. Don't sit here and tempt me, guys. This location features La Farm's first pizza program, too. The cafe also has an expanded dinner menu featuring items such as grilled salmon.
I love La Farm. All right, well, Dix Park has its very first artist in residence to bring new art installations to life at the park. The Conservancy chose artist and landscape architect Preston Montague. He will create environmental art to the park and develop new community and educational programming. Dix Park Conservancy says most of Montague's work will begin this spring.
The North Carolina Museum of Art's annual Art in Bloom Festival will run March 19th through the 23rd. There will be more than 30 floral designers from across North Carolina, and this year's theme is Art in the Park. Tickets are available for members, just so you know, and they go on sale to the general public Thursday, February 6th at 10 a.m.
That's beautiful. If you've never been, you have to go. All right, before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll have another check on weather and traffic next.